Hey, Math 20-3, how are things going? Looks like an interesting week as we get back into the roll of things. This week looks like what we're going to be doing is continuing some review, trying to finish up the unit this week, and then hopefully have a summative quiz or a summative assignment handed out before we leave for spring break. But today's focus is going to be how to find the calculated surface area for a composite shape. Now, when we take a look at composite shapes like this one here, the first thing we need to do is determine what the different shapes are and what the different formulas we're going to be using, as composite shapes can seem overwhelming because the shape looks funny. There's a whole bunch of formulas. But if we do it step by step, take our time, it won't be a problem, okay? So let's work through this one as a review, and then we'll get some questions that are forwarded to you for you to work on. So taking a look at this, we see that we have a circle. Okay, we only need half the circle, so that'll be in our formula. We have a rectangle. There's the base and there's the height. And finally, we have a triangle. Once again, the formula will come and proceed as it's needed. So in this slide, what we've done is I've changed. Sorry, I try to point at the screen when I should be using my mouse. We have a circle. Now we'll cut this in half. We'll have our rectangle. We'll have our triangle. So here's our formulas. Surface area of a circle is pi r squared, but we're doing half of that circle, so we divide it by 2. Surface area of a rectangle is base times height. And the surface area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. This is found in our formula sheets, the previous videos that we've watched, our textbook, the internet. Taking a look, second step is, as always, we substitute in the values. Now, when looking at the circle, okay, pi is 3.14 times half of the diameter. Diameter was 5. If you took a look at that picture, it had the diameter, so we need the radius. So the diameter was 5. Take half of that, that's 2.5. Okay, it's still going to be squared, but we divide it by 2 since we only need half a circle. The formula for the rectangle still stays as base times height, which is 10 times 5 in the picture. And the surface area for the triangle, which was base times height divided by 2. The base, if you take a look back at the picture, is a 4. The height was a 5. We divide that by 2. So here what we've done is we substituted in the numbers. Step 3, as always, after substitution, is just doing the math. Okay, nothing more than just doing the math right now. So we go 3.14 times 6.25 squared, which is 6.25. That whole thing will be divided by 2. And the base times height, 10 times 5, which is 50. And finally, for the triangle, it's base times the height, 4 times 5, but divided by 2 since we don't need the whole value when working with triangles. Now, continuing with the math, for the circle, 3.14 times 2.5 squared divided by 2 is going to give you 9.8125. The original answer was 19 something, but because we have to divide it by 2, it comes to 9.8125. In terms of the rectangle, we've already figured it out. It was 10 times 5. It stays that way. It doesn't change. And as we take a look at the triangle, it's 4 times 5 divided by 2, which is 20 divided by 2, which is therefore 10. And that's what the answers have been listed here. Now, the next step is the part that brings it all together, right? When we take a look, we take half the circle value, 9.81. We take the surface area of the rectangle, 50. We take the surface area of the triangle, which is 10. We add them all together to get an answer of 69.8125. Now, the final step, as always, is ensuring that we have the proper, is the proper surface area. We have the proper units of measure. Thank you, Solace. You shouldn't have broke this. Now, as we do, we go back here to same addition. We've ensured that the surface area has its units of measure, has to be squared because all the multiple values are multiplied. It's not volume. And there's the final answer. So remember, the key steps in calculating the surface area are, if we recall, going back to slide number 2, is we take the composite shape, we split it into the shapes that make up the composite shape. That allows us to use our formulas, and then we calculate through the formulas to get to our final answer. Okay, hopefully this helps as a review on calculating the surface area of composite shapes. Please make sure you watch Google Classroom to see if there are any added questions that come to follow or a form of doing it. Hope you have a great day. If there's any questions or concerns, remember to text me at the number I sent you on Google Classroom or just email me